welcome to the Squared Circle. Today is November 24th, 2015. I got it right. I'm not Jason. Saru announces his return to Connecticut, and Jason is not here tonight. Coincidence?
I think not.
I'm here with Dangerous Dan, as always, and the stalwart Jacob Zimmerman. It's been a long time since you've been on the show, and you've grown quite a bit.
I still haven't received a paycheck.
Well, I'll look into that. That's Hollywood J's department.
No, it's yours.
No, not today.
Yeah, okay.
But when you have got quite a packed show, there's independent wrestling just stacked. I mean, this month and the beginning of December is going to be independent wrestling palooza in the tri-state area. It's just incredibly stacked cards. We're expecting calls from Sheldon Goldberg of World Women's Wrestling and also NECW, New England Championship Wrestling. Ashley Vox is due to call in. And we've got information on PWA. The Friday night fights have returned. As we mentioned last week, we have the list of fighters that are scheduled to be. Now, we don't know who's going to be facing whom, but do you want to run down the list?
Why not? Let's see. We have Hippie Dicky Moon, Hillbilly Gray, Damien Darko, Bull Dread, U.S. Kid, Smiley, Montquills, Mantequilla, Troy Stevens, JVS, Wrecking Ball, Gershi, and many more to come.
Well, the initial 10 on the very first Friday night fights, the PWA International Champion, Joseph Von Schmidt, you failed to mention. And the PWA Ecuador Independent Champion, Troy Stevens, who was also the very first
PWA Squared Circle TV champion.
Yes.
The original. The originators, not the imitators.
That's correct. And also on that card is PWA Oxbaker Old School Heavyweight Champion, Wrecking Ball Wigurski. That's a mouthful. But that's the Friday night fights, 8 p.m. over at the PWA Arena in Cheshire. And they're saying, other than Christmas, they're going to have this a weekly event. And you're going to get 5 fights. That means 10 competitors. And it's going to be fantastic. It's something that they had done long ago before you were a student there. And it's going to be incredible. And the PWA is always coming out with something different, something new, revamping some old stuff and have it out. But we do have a call. Do we? They're saying we do. No call yet.
And when does the Friday night fight start?
8 p.m. on 12/4, December 4th. So that's coming up right after Thanksgiving. And before we forget, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and especially to those that are not with us overseas, the troops and their families. We wish you all a happy Thanksgiving and a safe return home. I believe we now have a phone call. No, we do not. You are live on the Squared Circle. Yellow. Who's on the phone?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Ah, it's a thunderous one.
Yes, you are correct. It is a thunderous one, Mr. Ruckus.
Good evening, Thomas Dacey. Welcome.
I just wanted to call in quickly because I know you have a busy show this evening, but I wanted to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, thank you.
And I wanted to do a little shameless plug, if I may.
Yes.
For my annual Toys for Tots show, which will be taking place next Tuesday up here in Wallingford at our sister station, WPAA, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm asking anybody who would like to bring their children up to see Santa to bring a new unwrapped toy for Toys for Tots.
Well, I mean, that's just something you do every year, and we participated in the past, and you have success with that every year, and you know, we can't thank you enough for including us in your efforts, and year round. I mean, you just had Tommy Palooza last week, and you've got the Toys for Tots this week, and it's just, you know, the Squared Circle family giving back to the community.
You bet your life.
You bet your life.
And of course, once again, Tom, the day and times were?
Yes, it is next Tuesday evening from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the WPAA studios.
Okay.
And the only good show on that station is your show.
You are correct.
And you know, next Tuesday, December 1st, you know what that is, right?
Yes,
guy's
it is
birthday,
Mr.
I
Ruckus's
think.
birthday.
That's correct. The day the Ruckus was born. So
You know I didn't forget.
Yeah, I will be enjoying myself that evening, but I will try to drop in and see you with the Toys for Tots, and maybe I'll get to sit on Santa's lap.
Oh, I'll have to get a picture of that.
It might be the first. But
I'm
thank
sure
you.
it won't be the last either.
Oh, hey now. Hey, Saru announced his return to Connecticut, and Jason's not here tonight. Coincidence?
I don't know, maybe some monkey business?
There we are. But thank you very much, Tom. We will see you next Tuesday.
You bet your life, and once again, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Of course, the Thunderous one, Thomas Dacey, contributor and our tech guy. He does all of our online presence and takes care of our YouTube channel. And the guy is just busiest guy I know. Between, like I said last week, Tommy Palooza and raising money for the Shriners. Next year, he's going to be raising money for Alzheimer's. And right now, next Tuesday, he's going to be doing Toys for Tots. And I remember last year we had it in the studio here, and you couldn't move in the studio because there were so many toys. So
Great guy. He always goes out of his way to do something to help his community. What more can you say? The Thunderous one is simply awesome.
And you know what? He's one of the most able-bodied person that I know.
Doesn't make any excuses to hold him back. He is, like you said, one of the most able-bodied persons that we know.
Right. I mean, here's a fellow that doesn't have use of his legs, and somebody complains about they don't have use of one foot. It's like, I don't know. But we move on. The sad news is Cesaro is out of commission. He's got a shoulder injury. He's going to be out 4 to 6 months. It's terrible. You know, I think one of the strongest stars and one of the most really overlooked guys in the WWE right now, Cesaro. You know, it seems like he gets a little push and he gets the audience behind him, and then he gets buried. What do you think?
It doesn't matter who gets behind him, he gets buried either way.
Yeah.
And this is like the worst November in sports history, really.
Yeah, for injuries.
Injuries and deaths and losses.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really been a rough month, and hopefully they can turn it around and get into the new year with some uplifting news.
The positive news,
Yes.
power of positivity.
The power of positivity. You have to believe.
Yes, you do. That's all you have to do.
That's your guy.
Because Sheamus felt the power of positivity
Yes.
last night, or 2 nights ago on Survivor Series.
Yeah, Sheamus took the belt.
Yes.
What did you think of that?
Cesaro should have won.
I think they did have plans for Cesaro until
To
he
bury him more?
I don't know. Maybe Undertaker would have buried him.
He's too good for that.
But Monday Night's Raw after Survivor Series was down in viewership from the previous weeks, and it's other than being a holiday show, it's been the lowest it's been in quite some time. And I think, people that couldn't afford or didn't order the pay-per-view would watch Monday Night Raw afterwards to see the results of the Sunday night pay-per-view. So traditionally, the Raw after a pay-per-view was higher rated than any other Raws. And I think with the WWE Network and people being able to subscribe and at that affordable rate are watching the pay-per-view, and therefore you don't really have to tune into Raw to find out the results, because more people are seeing the pay-per-view at a reasonable rate. Does that seem like a reasonable theory?
Well, I can agree with that, because that's normally what I used to do back in the day. Is instead of shelling out
Using this thing.
X amount of bucks, would be just tune in the next night, and they would very often repeat a match that they had on the pay-per-view.
Right, and at
Or
least you
just
would,
make a tag match of two like they
Right.
did last night.
and you'd see highlights, you'd see results. So I mean, if you weren't able to order the pay-per-view at the that exorbitant
Very
rate,
low price.
well, now it's a very low price, but it was an exorbitant, especially on a monthly basis, if you were going to order all the pay-per-views. So I think, saying now that the ratings on Raw after the pay-per-view are low, I think it doesn't reflect that people aren't watching. I think more people are able to watch the pay-per-view. So you're not tuning in the Raw to get the results because you've already seen it. My theory, I don't know.
But you have to wonder too, John and Jacob, how are the lower TV ratings affecting the stocks at all?
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. And the WWE stock has been, I'll say stagnant for lack of a better term. It's been hovering at the same lower than it's been, lower rate. But I
Very
mean,
lower rate.
yeah, but I mean, the market alone has been pretty bad, overall. And there's talk of the market correction and all that, but that's a political
And is it
and
the
financial show.
That's Trump's area.
And another thing, is it the switch to the PG ratings that are affecting the show instead of PG-13?
Well, PG was 2010. That's when all that began.
Right.
So can't really blame that. But it's also football season, and then people will watch that.
It's football season, but to quote Vince, he actually made the statement, I believe, last year, that football wasn't a competition for him.
Oh, if you look at any of your market research, it's the same male 18 to 35 demographic. And I really think this past Monday's matchup between the Bills and the Patriots was highly anticipated. You have the Patriots going for an undefeated streak, right? Much like Undertaker. And unlike Undertaker, the Patriots kept their undefeated streak.
Right.
And the Bills did give them a good run for their money.
Not really.
It was a decent game. Not as much as the Giants, as our studio audience.
And from what I hear, the refs were bungling the calls in
Much
that
like
game.
WWE.
Right.
No, that was the Packers game on Sunday.
Well, because we're Viking fans. But we move on. We mentioned earlier Joseph von Schmidt. Saturday, November 28th, Joseph von Schmidt will be defending his title at Lancaster Championship Wrestling. He is the heavyweight champion in Lancaster Championship Wrestling. And on that card will be special guest Mick Foley, Rikishi, the first time ever Head Shrinker reunion, Shane Douglas, Carlito, and Moose. So that's Saturday, November 28th. We have Ashley on the phone. Good evening. You're live on the Squared Circle.
Hey guys,
Hey, Ashley Vox. How are you tonight?
doing pretty good.
Saturday, December 12th, us versus them. You are going to be on the card with Blue Pants.
Oh my gosh, I know. I am. Yeah, Domi and I are looking forward to that.
Yeah, you were just, Jason and Dan were just up at the card this past Saturday, correct?
Yeah.
Right. And we had a chance to speak to Ashley. And Ashley, I understand later that weekend, you got to face off against Sumi Sakai.
I did. This past Sunday, it was for the return of World Women's Wrestling. Sumi Sakai and Diana Perazzo, who, of course, has been in Ring of Honor, TNA, and just recently, I think 2 weeks ago, was in NXT. So yeah, that was a really, really, really fun match Telmy and I had. And it was exciting because we had a chance to be a part of World Women's Wrestling. It's kind of like a historical promotion itself.
Yes, Sheldon Goldberg is a friend of the show as well, and we're expecting to speak to him later on this evening. Yeah, World Women's Wrestling, fantastic promotion, and Sheldon is just a wonderful guy.
Yeah, definitely. And there was a lot of women wrestlers back then as well. And the two girls that stuck out to me the most, um, Belma and Alexis Nevaeh, and they're still there, bringing it back all together, and Sheldon and Sumi. It was just it's unreal, It's kind of like I used to watch this on YouTube, and it's now you're a part of it, so it's kind of big.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting on cards with established stars, and you're just starting out yourselves, you and your partner in the Sea Stars, and I mean, how does it feel to be in the ring or in the locker room with some of these ladies, like you said, that you grew up watching or you've watched on YouTube, and you've seen their career, and here you are, really at just the beginning of yours.
We saw the flyer, and we were teaming up against Sumi and Deanna. And, it didn't really hit us yet. It was oh, wow, they're returning. And then once you get to the locker room, it's a whole locker room just filled with female wrestlers, and that never happens,
Right.
And it was just a different atmosphere, and I don't know, it still kind of hasn't hit us. It's really, we were there, it's one of those things, and you look at the photos, and I can't believe I was there, it's insane. But yeah, it's a great feeling for sure.
Now, how is it? Like you mentioned the locker room. How is it different? Are the women as competitive as the men? Are they more friendly? Do they offer you tips, and do you watch each other matches? Or how does it differ from hanging out with, let's say, the fellas?
I think when you're with the guys, it's just they're in their own zone, and you kind of can't really relate. Not in a bad way, but they're so much bigger, and they do a lot of different moves compared to girls.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of very different. Whereas girls, it's you're both kind of you have the same feelings, and you're all in this together, and you're all setting each other with this goal, and trying to bring women's wrestling to be taken serious, and you're all there with one mindset. And Alexis Nevaeh had given a really powerful speech that day too, to everyone, and it was a speech that hit all the newcomers, and myself, and Tequila Rose, Delmi Exo, and Maximum Mecca. We're all new, and we're all still learning, and hearing a speech like that kind of it gives you it's okay to ask. It's okay to go up to the vets and ask them questions, and because they know it and they've been through it for years, and we don't. We're just starting out, and they kind of give you that welcoming feeling.
Oh, so they do set a good example, and on how to conduct yourself, and it's not somebody might imagine a cat fight, and you're fighting for position.
Yeah. No.
So I mean they're helpful.
It's more like respect. You see Belmont with the title. It's yeah, she deserves that.
Yep.
Years of wrestling and going through so many other female wrestlers. She deserves that title. She deserves to hold it for as long as she can. Until someone else comes in and deserves that as well.
Yeah.
But it's all respect.
Yeah, I traveled down to Jersey to see Mistress Belmont in the league down there, and it was just an all-women show, and it was just fantastic. It was put on by Shine, and it was just wonderful to see. It's a different type of competitiveness, and it's a different product than what you see in TNA, and what you see last night on Raw. The women were only given 4 minutes, and Mick Foley was outraged. And if you read, if you're interested in Mick Foley, his tweet, he was outraged that here you have two of the top women competitors, and you have on your marquee show, and you give them 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's like the thing too. Like, women's wrestling. Like I would watch it on TV, and it's like really like 4 minutes plus entrance. It's like, what's there to tell within those 4 minutes? And that's not how it was at Triple W. It was like everyone had so much time, and there wasn't as many like matches. I think it was like 6 or 7 matches.
Yeah.
And everyone like went out there, told a story, and the crowd was like into it. You don't want to see something like real quick because like what are you gonna tell? Within like 3 minutes or so. You need like time.
I agree, and and honestly, with Raw being at 3 hours long, I mean, it's just ludicrous to think that you're only going to devote 4 minutes out of 3 full hours. I mean, even if you cut out, the commercial time or what have you, you cut it down to a 2-hour show, and you're devoting 4 minutes within 2 hours. I mean, that's really just sad that the WWE doesn't have confidence in young ladies like yourself. And you also had the Portuguese Princess Ariel, Miss Sammy Lane, and you've got the talent there, and you yourself and your partner in the Sea Stars are just talented young ladies, and I think you all deserve more time and more exposure to on television.
Yeah, and that's what's great about this promotion. Like, since it's an all women's wrestling, like, we all have that chance now. We all have like here it is. Like, here's the opportunity. Here's the promotion. Like, let's go out there and let's try and like, give what we've always like wanted, and that's time.
Yes.
So that's really thankful for Sheldon bringing it back.
Yeah.
Now, Ashley, when you're, let's step away from this promotion for a minute. When you're working in the ring at Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling, and Doug Summers is watching you do your matches, will he point out little things you can do better inside the ring?
Oh, of course, yeah. He's he's my trainer, and I always go to him and like, I could have done this better. Like, I could, what did you think about this? And like, he gives me that. Like, he's always there for his students, and he like gives advice, and he's given me so much advice. So I always take it with me, and like, even if he's not there, like if, for instance, like at UVT, I have like a match recording, I would like send it to him, and that's how he would like give me more advice. Or I would like send the video out to like any other event, and they would give me like some pointers and things like that.
And we mentioned us versus them. Saturday, December 12th. Is that your next match coming up, or do you have something in between that we're not aware of?
Yeah, UFO is this Black Friday.
Right.
It's in 177 West Street, Malvern, Mass. I believe it's in the Irish American Club. And then it's PvP in Hadley, Mass.
Okay.
I believe that one's in the 5th, right?
Yes, yeah. Jason has plans to be there for that one.
Yeah, Jason and I will both be there for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one's in the American Legion, and then UVT. It's going to be indoors this time. Last time it was like freezing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have the address for that, but it's 481 Whirly Ball. It's in Enfield, Connecticut.
Yes. Yeah, that's not too far from us. I actually work right near there. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna on that card. The Chikara Stars, the Materia are going to be there, and to me, I mean, that's other than yourself, that's a huge draw. The Materia on Chikara. Chikara is, I think, an upcoming wonderful promotion that gives you, much like Ring of Honor, more in-ring action than outside of the ring drama and storylines, where they tell the story inside the ring instead of backstage. And for me, I really like it. It harkens back to me like the ECW days, where it was more in-ring action than it was backstage drama.
Yeah.
And You're just a busy woman. It's just you've got what 3 matches in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, it used to be more crazy. Like, I think like around September, like every weekend has been like a wrestling show, and like I, of course, wasn't used to it, and it was just like, usually on the weekends I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna do homework, and then I don't have a chance to do homework, and I like do everything like Sunday night, but it's been crazy. And luckily, like, the semester's over, and, the holidays are setting in, so there's not going to be a lot of shows.
Right.
But hopefully, like, it picks up again for next year, because it's really exciting to, like, have shows, like, every weekend. You meet a lot of different people, and, so many, like, once-a-year events kind of deal, like Elkmania and now UFO. So
Right.
it's pretty exciting.
Well, speaking of meeting different people on the independent circuit, if you would, here in the New England area, are there any veterans that if you could get your wish, you could step into the ring with?
Any vets, it's a tough one because there's so many. It's like picking my favorite Pokemon.
Wow, you're showing your age with that. I couldn't even name one Pokemon.
Magikarp.
Pikachu.
Oh, sorry.
That's a really tough one.
Right.
Can I pick a guy and a girl?
Sure, go
You
right
can.
ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay. I think for a girl, I would definitely love to wrestle Alexis Nevaeh because I haven't yet, and I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
I don't know when it'll happen, but whenever it does, I'm pretty sure I'll be jumping up and down. Because I've watched her, and she was like one of the girls that like really stuck out to me in independent wrestling. For a guy, I think it would have to be like Billy King or like Tunis,
I
They've
thought
been wrestling for like so long.
I thought you were going to say Hollywood Jay Williams, but
I'll be with Jay Williams.
he would definitely be excited for that.
And
Have you even been training? No, that would have been easy.
well, from what I hear, and Hollywood Jay would be willing to put, like Doug Summers, he would be willing to put the dress on.
We just step into the ring with Doug so he can lose the dress then.
There we go. There we go. But Thanksgiving's coming up, and we want to wish you a very happy and safe Thanksgiving, and we really appreciate you being a part of the show and having Hollywood and Dan up for the shows. And, of course, my son makes it once in a while. And it's just wonderful to see all of you young ladies coming up in the sport and getting some success. And you can tell by listening to you the passion and respect and love that you have for this business. And do you think this is something you're going to keep doing for a long time?
As long as I can, yes. Yeah.
But you also mentioned that you're a student. Anything special you're studying?
Right now I'm doing like general eds, but once I graduate, like I'm getting my film certificate.
Oh.
I do work for Girl Scouts and I do like videos for them and edit and film. So anything with like film is what I'm aiming for.
Oh, that's fantastic. My son,
yeah.
I believe you've met my son Dylan, and that's what he's interested in doing. And we just had the pleasure of filming the big event in New York, and including Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart, and like 40 major stars, including Chyna, April Hunter, Taz, Cherry, Hall, Nash.
Hollywood Jay.
Yeah, Hollywood Jay was there too.
Exciting, yeah.
And Dylan got to film that, and we're going to do some editing this week and get some video out there, and hopefully you'll see it on YouTube. But my son was the cameraman behind that, and he's going to be studying that next year in college. So you two have something in common, and you're always welcome to come down to the studio, and we'll let you get behind the camera here, in front of the camera here, and show us your skills.
Okay, like a test.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. You have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thank you once again.
Thank you. You too.
All right,
Have
good.
a wonderful Thanksgiving, guys.
All right. Good night now.
Good night. Bye.
Ashley Vox, the beautiful, lovely, wonderful, talented.
Very much so. It's always good to hear from Ashley Vox.
Yeah.
And even better to watch her in the ring, as she is very, very talented.
And if you go to our Facebook group, you can see the links to some of her matches, and her and her partner Delmy XO and the Sea Stars. They're just, like I said, they're up and coming, and from listening to her, the respect and love for the business that she has is very infectious. And you can find her on the upcoming events, and again, we'll have the Sheldon Goldberg's on the phone. Good evening, Mr. Goldberg.
Good evening.
How are you this wonderful day?
I'm just great. Thank you so much.
We were just talking with Ashley Vox about the World Women's Wrestling card that she just took place, participated in with the Portuguese Princess Ariel and Miss Sammy Lane, Tequila Rose. And we were just saying it's great to have a card of women's wrestling. We were saying what a travesty that Monday Night Raw last night devoted only 4 minutes of their 3 hours to women's wrestling. And here you put out an entire card of women's wrestling. So we want to thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. I really, really do.
And how did that go over?
Well, I was really, really thrilled with the show. I thought that everybody who was on the card really, really stepped up, and they really, really delivered. The audience was really, really enthusiastic. And, this is not a new thing.
Right.
World Women's Wrestling was something that I had started about 10 years ago.
Yes.
And this was the return of it. And I couldn't have been happier with the talent, and couldn't have been happier with the matches themselves. And we have some exciting things that we're going to be doing with it moving forward. And I'm just so glad. This has been a pet project of mine for quite a number of years.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy to have it back, and was very happy that the talent really embraced it the way that they did. And that the people who were there really embraced it too. So very, very happy about all that stuff, and very much looking forward to everything coming up with World Women's Wrestling. So.
And do you have a website devoted to World Women's Wrestling?
It's part of the NECW website, but if you actually typed in worldwomenswrestling.com, you would get to the NECW website. We are actually in the process of overhauling the site.
Yeah.
You don't see it yet, but the site is about to be completely redesigned and overhauled. And eventually, when you type in World Women's Wrestling, it's going to go right to a World Women's Wrestling section of that website. So,
excellent.
Yeah, all that stuff is in process. We're working on it. It's a big project. All of this is a big project.
Yeah, yeah.
And it does take time, but we're committed to really pushing this now. And like I say, I'm really, really glad that that this is back, and that it has been so embraced by the people involved in it. It was really the story of the day for me was actually before the show even started. When Alexis Nevaeh made a locker room speech,
Yeah.
basically talking about what it meant to her, and how if there hadn't been a World Women's Wrestling, she'd be back in Fall River wrestling the same girls in the same matches over and over again, and that of all the things that she did in wrestling, this was the thing that made it happen. So, it's very heartwarming, and there are a lot of stories like that. So,
Yeah, Ashley Vox actually mentioned that speech and said that was the highlight of the night for her as well.
Yeah, Ashley was very, very thrilled with being part of the event.
Well, I was thrilled to have her. She's somebody that we have been discussing for a long time, and one of the reasons that we didn't have World Women's Wrestling for the longest period was because that there weren't as many girls around.
Yeah.
Back when I started World Women's Wrestling, there was about 6 or 8 girls that were in the area, and they weren't doing much of anything with them. And I was the only one that was really booking women's wrestling at all.
Right.
If I can, if you wouldn't mind indulging me a little bit, I'll tell you a little bit about the story about how it all came to be and why it all came to be.
By all means, go ahead.
Back in 2002, I got a phone call from a friend of mine who was a photographer for a Japanese wrestling magazine. And he told me that he had a woman that was wrestling in Japan, and her dream was to wrestle in America. And if she comes over here, would I be willing to book her on my shows, and would I be willing to help her get booked up and down the East Coast? And then it became, the company that she works for in Japan has a championship that they want us to sanction, and that we do a thing where she would eventually win this belt and take it back to Japan. I said, I'm down. Whatever you want to do, I'm down. That woman was Sumi Sakai.
Nice.
So she comes to Boston, she gets off the plane, and she wrestles that night at the old Good Time Emporium in Somerville, Massachusetts. She wrestled Mercedes Martinez. And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't the greatest match ever.
Okay.
But the whole atmosphere around it and the whole aura that Sumi brought to the show, and the match is online. We have an online web series on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you go to our YouTube channel, which is NECW Wrestling, there's a Best of World Women's Wrestling series, a 4-show web series.
Okay.
And it's the first show in the series. You can see exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, well, definitely, yes.
Yeah, but it was just, the atmosphere of it was so special that it just clicked in my mind that one of these days I want to do all women's wrestling.
Yes.
And at the time, the only other person that was doing anything like it in the country was Dave Prazak, who at the time was working with IWA Mid-South, and the women's shows that he did with them evolved into Shimmer.
Yes.
So he and I, at the time, were like the only ones in the country that wanted to do these all-women shows.
That's really hard to believe, but
the oddest thing was that when I started them, I got incredible resistance from the people that worked for me.
Oh, wow.
The guys, actually, Bob Evans, who was the booker at the time, actively tried to sabotage it.
Oh, wow, that's too bad.
That was how much they hated the idea of women's wrestling and women getting this type of a push and this type of a thing. So I did 2 all-women shows under the NECW banner, and they were both successful, but I learned something in the process, and that was that if I was really going to do it, and really do it the right way, it needed to have its own brand and its own identity, and that's when it became World Women's Wrestling.
Excellent, excellent. And again, we're 100% behind you with it, and we can't thank you enough because, I mean, it's the world we live in today. I mean, the equality movement was many, many years ago, and yet the wrestling world is way behind in recognizing the talent and popularity of women's wrestling. It's really just a travesty. As I said, out of a 3-hour Monday Night Raw, they gave the women's wrestling 4 minutes. And, here you had Becky Lynch, arguably one of the top, wrestlers on the television pro circuit today, and you're only giving her 4 minutes. It's really, really sad.
She worked for us before she became famous.
Yes, I know that, yep.
And so did Sasha Banks, of course.
Right. And, we had the pleasure of meeting Sasha Banks a while back on one of your events. And just great, just great talent. And I'm sure you gave them more than 4 minutes.
Yes, yes, we did.
But
when I first met Sasha Banks,
yeah,
and the guys were telling me that this girl's really great. We should just rush the belt on her and all that. And I said, you know what? I said, I agree with everything you're saying, but she's out of here. As soon as people find out who this girl is and what she's all about, and they take one look, she's gone.
Yeah.
and I'm happy to say that was a correct assessment. So
Yes. Well, your
it took a
current,
little while, but
the current World Women's Wrestling Champion is Mistress Belmont.
yes, sir.
And to switch gears a little bit, we're going to see her Saturday, December 12th at NECW at the Cove Community Center in Beverly, Mass.
Mm-hmm.
And that is your event titled Unwrapped.
Mm-hmm.
And also you're going to have the Mass Hole, Mike McCarthy, your NECW television champion, Toto Loco.
Yep.
And you're also going to have a 4-team tag team title tournament. Now, how did that come about?
Well, about midway last year, we had a situation with the tag team titles, and they were stripped from the champions, who were a team called The End. It was one of those situations where there was a little lack of professionalism going on, and we'd had some difficulty with the tag titles. So what we just decided to do is just not have tag champions for a while until we got everything settled, and we had a division of teams that we thought we could, get a good start with. And so now we do, and I'm looking forward to bringing the tag team titles back. And we wanted to do it in the form of a mini tournament. So we have 4 teams that are set to go on December 12th. And by the end of that night, we will have new NECW tag team champions and an active and healthy tag team division again. So
You are just a busy fellow. Between running World Women's Wrestling and NECW, 2 cards in successive weeks, it's just fantastic to see just the talent that you're cultivating over in the Massachusetts area.
It's such a great tribute to the level of talent that is around right now.
Yeah.
This is one of the strongest rosters I think our company has ever had overall, both male and female.
Yeah.
And I'm just really excited to work with all of these people. I just think that they're really terrific, and I feel very, very blessed and very thankful for being able to give them a stage to perform on. I will tell you that the plan. Here's a little bit of a scoop.
Okay.
The plan is to run 6 Triple W shows next year in Beverly.
Yeah.
All will be DVD tapings.
Nice.
We are going to be working in collaboration with High Spots to release those. And we're also going to be making a lot of the classic World Women's Wrestling footage available via High Spots on their new Women's Wrestling Network.
Oh, fantastic.
So we're going to be collaborating with them. Very excited about that. We may even have some special projects relative to Triple W. And I am hoping when the dust settles and the smoke clears that we end up running just as many Triple W events as we do NECW events. So I'm really bullish, so to speak, on women's wrestling, and I really think that the time right now is very ripe for us to really do something very substantial with this. So.
Yeah, I really, with the popularity of the women coming up in NXT and, the television exposure, as little as they get, but the popularity is definitely coming up, and, it can do nothing but help you guys. And if there's any, footage or matches or clips that you can float our way, we'll be glad to share them with our audience and, and help you out in any way we can.
Absolutely. It's funny, if you watch the last 2 episodes of our online television, which were both devoted to the relaunching of World Women's Wrestling,
Yep.
I think you'll get a very good sense of the level of commitment that we have to it, and the quality of both the matches and the storytelling. And I'm very, very proud of those episodes. Proud of all the stuff that we do, but I'm particularly proud of those because I think they really effectively set the stage for what we're doing with World Women's Wrestling. And
we were just, as I said, we were just speaking with Ashley Fox, and she's got an interest in film and television. So maybe you can get her behind the scenes, working some cameras and editing and stuff like that, and get her feet wet there as well.
Well, thank you for that suggestion. That's terrific. I'm gonna have that discussion with her. Certainly we'll have that discussion with her. I think that I'd love to get. Eventually, what we're going to do with this is more women will be involved. We'll eventually have a female ring announcer. There's going to be a female announcer. We already have. You haven't seen it yet because it was all done in the back, but.
Yep.
We have a woman named Allison Jade who came on with us, debuted with us this Sunday doing the backstage interviews for World Women's Wrestling.
Yeah, we're familiar with Allison.
Having more of a female presence on all aspects of it is important to us, and
well, now you may have a possibility of getting a female behind the camera as well.
Yeah, sounds good.
But
that's a welcome thing,
Yeah, and I mentioned to Ashley, my son Dylan is in the process of learning and filming and getting into that. He's entering college next year as a film and video production student, and he does all of our camera work here and goes out on the road. We just filmed the big event in New York, which included Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, Hall, Nash, and we're in the process of putting that footage together. So you can find that coming up on our Facebook group, which I know you're a part of. But I think I mentioned last time I spoke to you that my both boys are half Goldberg. My wife was actually, her maiden name is Goldberg. So somewhere down the road we may be related.
Oh, wow, okay.
So,
there you go.
but it's been a pleasure having you, and we can't wait to see you on Saturday, December 12th, NECW, Cove Community Center, Beverly, Mass. The Unwrapped show will be just something to not be missed.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure. I really enjoy being on with you, and anytime you need me, just let me know.
Absolutely. And the website, once again?
Is necw.tv. Tickets for Unwrapped are on sale right now. And also, if I can plug one more thing, if you wouldn't mind.
Go right ahead.
Saturday, December 5th, or is it 6th?
5th.
Saturday, December 6th at West Real Estate in 5.
Yep.
December 5.
Yep.
From noon to 2, or noon to 3, at West Real Estate in Wilmington, Massachusetts. We're going to be collecting toys for tots. Some of the stars will be there, and we do this every year.
Yeah.
And we always look forward to that. Toys for Tots is kind of a pet cause for us. And
we're doing ours on December 1st, next Tuesday. So yes.
Great.
Definitely.
Great.
Definitely. And we do. We're involved in food drives and clothing drives. And as you know, it's a mitzvah to give back to the community, and we really appreciate. Amen. We truly appreciate your efforts, as well as our staff in giving back to the community. We get a lot of enjoyment from the wrestling community, and we just love to give back. And the community definitely comes out, and I hope the community comes out for your event on Saturday the 5th and donates Toys for Tots.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
All right. Yeah.
And 2016, we want to bring Triple W down to Connecticut.
We're here. We're waiting for you.
Right. All right.
All right, Sheldon. Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure. Take care.
Good night. What a wonderful guest. He's just a fantastic fellow, and again, another Toys for Tots drive. Another promotion. Giving back to the community. It's nice to see. I know PWA. Is involved with Toys for Tots and some of their events, and we've been a part of that as well when they've collected for Toys for Tots, and it's good for the wrestling community. We have so much, and we're very blessed to be here, and it's good for us to give back, and it's nice to see Sheldon Goldberg and our show, and hopefully other shows will get involved and start giving back to the community.
Oh, indeed, and PWA does a lot for the youth, and as you said, they do collect the toys for the children that need them. So PWA does step up to the plate and do a lot to help the
Yes,
community.
and over the summer they do the pets. I can't think of what it's called, but they give to the pets in need, and they take donations for the
Right,
pets.
the pet food drive or whatever.
Yes, and that's over here in North Haven at the car dealership.
Yep.
And that's every summer they do that. And I know if you look at Joseph von Schmidt's page, he's always with that little cat. Well, it's not so little anymore.
Well,
but,
they tend to grow.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's their pet cause. So, their pet project, so to speak. But yeah, it's really important that those of us that have give back to the community, and and your efforts are always appreciated with the food drive and the clothing drive, because they do matter. And I know last month's food drive, I was there, he was there. We collected quite a bit of food for the food pantry that will be used, in the next couple of days for, people in need on Thanksgiving. And I'm thankful to you for that.
Right, and certainly, as we heard from our first caller, the Thunderous one, Tom Dacey.
Yep.
He's out there doing his thing with the Toys for Tots
Yep.
on Tuesday from 6 to 7.
Yes, Toys for Tots on Tuesday.
Yeah.
been
And
a little-
we hope that goes extremely well for Tom.
Toys for Tots on Tuesday with Tom.
Yeah.
Wow. Try to say that fine.
I think
Go
he
ahead,
did.
say that.
Knowing Tom, I think he did that on purpose.
But yeah, it's just a wonderful thing for everyone to get involved and give something back. And you can give blood, and you and Jason did the run. Was that for Alzheimer's? What was the-
I think that was for Alzheimer's and arthritis. Jay had arthritis, I had Alzheimer's.
I think I have the Alzheimer's now. I'm the one on the show with the Alzheimer's. I truly admit that, yes, there are times that I forget people's names, but it happens. It happens to the best of us, and even Michael Cole makes a mistake every now and then.
He doesn't forget, he just says the wrong name.
Yeah. Yeah, he did that quite a few times on Raw last night. But, and he's making millions of dollars. And I do this out of the love of my heart.
Oh yeah, and Jay, as we said earlier, is home in hiding.
Yes. Keep an eye out, Connecticut. Saru will be back, and we love Saru. And Saru, obviously, is always in our hearts and minds. So we definitely support anything that Saru does.
Yeah, so be careful when you walk into the grocery store behind the banana cases, because you never know where and when he'll pop up.
That's correct. But we want to thank, before we have to wrap up, Ashley Vox for coming on, the Thunderous One for giving us a call, Sheldon Goldberg, World Women's Wrestling, NECW, Us versus Them coming up on December 12th. It's just December 4th with PWA. It's just a stacked end of November, early December. It's just incredible. All the events that are coming up, and you need to cover them.
Oh well, they're coming up fast and furious, but we will be there
Yeah.
because we are the originators, not the imitators.
Yes, and hopefully coming up on one of these Friday night fights, we will see the PWA Squared Circle Television Champion. If not, we might have to take measures to strip the champion. Because if he doesn't defend it sometime soon, we're going to have a discussion over there with Joseph von Schmidt.
Right.
But we will see.
We'll have to invoke that 30-day clause.
Yeah, definitely. As Hollywood would say, definitely. But Hollywood, we wish you success in hiding out from Mr. Saru. I want to thank Jacob Zimmerman.
Where's my paycheck?
Yeah,
Talk to Hollywood about
talk
that.
to Hollywood. And for Dangerous Dan, there's no blowing off steam tonight because it's the holiday season, and there's no reason to be upset. We're total, as I said, we're truly blessed, and we want to thank everyone and have a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving. And if you can afford it, get out there and give to somebody else. That it?
Certainly.
4 more minutes left.
Certainly sit down at your tables with your families, no arguments, peaceful feelings, and gobble gobble. You know.
Oh, the gobbledygook.
Yeah. 25 years of him too, I believe?
25 years of the gobbledygook and The Undertaker. And I was there. I have the original program. I should have brought it. The original program for Survivor Series, the debut of The Undertaker, the first televised match of The Undertaker.
But who was his first match ever with?
You'd have to go online and find that.
No, you won't.
We know who it is. We know who it is. We just giving him a hard time today. You bet your life. Good. Well, we're wrapping it up. Thank you very much. You've been watching The Squared Circle. Have a good evening.
Thank you for joining.
That's it?
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up, fellas.
Good job, Rocket.
That's okay.
Oh,